Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel cooksbycary. In today's video, I attempted to make healthy chocolate chip banana bread oatmeal bars from the Rachel Mansfield blog. However, things did not go according to plan, as you'll see in this video, but I did end up with a delicious bowl of some baked oatmeal, which I really enjoyed. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so here are all the ingredients I use in today's recipe. I use some rolled oats, some dark chocolate chips. I use the Enjoy Life brand, but feel free to use any vegan chocolate chip. I use some mashed banana, some almond flour, but the recipe called for oat flour, but I just substituted. But to make, you can use oat flour, and to make it, you just would put some oats in a blender or a food processor, and then sift it all out, and then you have oat flour. I use some vanilla almond milk, but you can use oat milk or any other non-dairy milk. I use some almond butter, but you can use any nut butter you like. And to make it cost efficient, you could make your own tahini or really use any nut or seed butter. And then lastly, I use some cinnamon and some baking powder. And that was all for this recipe, and it ended up being vegan, which is pretty cool. Okay, so the first step in this recipe is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're going to take, you should use a 9x9, but I didn't have that, so I'd actually recommend going bigger rather than smaller, but I only had an 8x8 pan, and I cut out a piece of parchment that fit the bottom, and this part is optional, but I greased the bottom with some cooking spray just to make sure the parchment would stick. Now, for some reason, my camera did not record me pouring in the ingredients, but right here I'm just mixing the almond butter, the almond milk, and the mashed banana all together, and I'm using a whisk. Now my whisk may look a little funny because my usual whisk is in the dishwasher, so I am just using the one that came off of my handheld mixer. But yeah, so I'm just mixing it all up, and then you'll see in a second I'll take my spatula just to scrape down the edges of the bowl just to make sure everything is completely combined. So now I'm taking all of the dry ingredients, that means the almond flour, the oats, the cinnamon, and the baking powder, and I'm going to add it all into our wet mixture and continue whisking with a whisk because I felt that was the best way to get all the ingredients combined. And like with the wet ingredients, the last step here is to just take a spatula, scrape down the edges, and make sure there's nothing left at the bottom of the bowl and everything is incorporated. Now this is the last step here. I'm going to be folding in with my spatula the dark chocolate chip. So I'm just pouring them all in and mixing them all together. So now I'm going to pour the batter in my already prepared baking pan. And I'm just pouring it all in, and I'm just going to scrape down the edges of the bowl to make sure everything gets in there. And yeah, then I didn't really need to pat the batter down or anything for this recipe because it's pretty wet. And here is what it looked like all ready to go in the oven. So I've just popped it in the oven and I'm setting a timer for 25 minutes. Now this is the time that was listed on the recipe, but they were using a larger pan. So I'm going to begin checking after 25 minutes about every 5 minutes until I think my oatmeal is all done. Now obviously it's oatmeal, so it's, sort of safe to eat raw, so it's more about is it going to be that bar texture, not about is it cooked enough. Hold on, before we continue and I show you the disaster that followed and the final product, please, if you're enjoying this video, subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below what you'd like to see next. Also, if you really like the video, please share this video with a friend. These things help me so much, and they're free and easy to do. Alright, now on with the video. Alright, so it's been kind of a while. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I'm gonna say like 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Like, it's been a pretty long time. Like, maybe not 40, like around 35 minutes, somewhere around there. So it looked beautiful. I tested it and it was coming out clean. It was looking so good. But then I tried to flip it out and it was not ready. It was just a disaster. Like, you can look at it like, oh my gosh. So this was a mess and I didn't know what to do. But luckily, my dad was able to save this and somehow he flipped it back into the pan and I cooked it for longer. Now, one tip I'm going to say is that my oatmeal may have been done at this point. It may have needed a couple more minutes, but it may have been done. But my real error was not allowing it to cool in the pan. So I do cut mine right after it comes out. But to get that bar shape, I think you really need to leave it in the pan and not attempt to cut in it for several hours or maybe even overnight. Alrighty, after putting it back in the oven for maybe 10-ish minutes, I really can't remember, guys, I'm so sorry, but this is what it looked like, and I think it was honestly a disaster, but like, it was easily fixed. Now I'm just cutting into the pan, but like I said, I really recommend not doing this, just like leave your pan as it is, but I am cutting the sides to attempt to take a bar slice out. However, mine did not really make bars because I think the oatmeal was way too almost like quote unquote wet, but it's not wet, it's just like very hot. Now here it is in my bowl, and it does not look that appealing. I'm going to say that, but it does in the end, and honestly, it was so delicious regardless of if it was a bar or not. So I would still recommend this recipe even though it didn't work out in my experience. Alrighty, here is the final product. I added some bananas on the top to make it a bit more special. You could also top it with some more nut butter, some more chocolate chips, anything like that. And it was honestly so good. I ate like half the bowl right after we filmed this. It was really good, and I definitely recommend this recipe. And hopefully my tips can help you not make make you actually have bars unlike mine. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to do the things I mentioned at the middle of the video, like, comment, subscribe, and please follow me on Instagram at cooksbycary. I post lots of fun photos of the food I cook. And that's all for this video. See you in the next one. Bye.